Hey everyone, Rascal here.
And Mama, welcome to our podcast.
Today we're covering the sequel to the Addams Family. Why was there one again?
In our first podcast on the original movie, we stated that despite critics and some reviews hating the film, we found it enjoyable and misunderstood. However, for this sequel, not only can we not defend it, but this film was so bad nobody even gave it attention after it was out, and rightly so.
Right. And before we start, be sure to like, subscribe, click notification updates on future podcasts and Pause videos.
I would say this is one of the worst films of the year.
Yeah. And here's the thing, when it was out, a lot of times the ads were for progressive. Mm-hmm. That was really it. You had a couple of ads for it every now and then, but a majority of the time they had progressive there. And ironically enough, progressive made a cameo in the movie, so it means they partially funded it.
I bet they're sorry about that now.
Yeah, and the joke was, oh, they're protecting the house and stuff, and it was an okay ad, but the fact that they were in the movie meant they had a part in it anyway. I think they thought that was gonna be like something like a running gag or funny to put in for both parties, and it didn't work out.
I bet they wish they pulled out like Kraft did with cartoon.
Right?
This movie was just really bad.
Yeah.
And the odd thing is, as we said, on the reverse, the first one we thought was enjoyable and fun, and we loved it.
Yeah.
But this one we dislike is equally as much as we like the first one. This one should have never been made. It was just like somebody threw some ideas together, said let's run with it, and not only did they do that, but they made the characters were no longer likable.
Right. And the thing with the story for the first one is that, yeah, it was a little bit cliche, but it sort of worked for it because Addams Family always stuck out like the monster. So them going to a suburb where everyone was one way and they were creepy and kooky, it worked. And then when they get to the second one, that idea they had the first movie is thrown out altogether. It's almost like it's its own movie and its own continuity. The characters that they became friends with and actually ended up being friends with in the first movie, they're no longer in here. The girl Wednesday ended up being friends with is gone. The woman that Uncle Fester ends up dating, gone. The hoity-toity homeowner association, they're gone. All the people from the first movie are gone. They're just in the place, and then it's just the people dealing with them because they're crazy. The entire status that they built for is no longer there, so they were no longer a standout family. They were just the annoying family.
Yeah. Pugsy became a huge joke. He was just fodder and the object of Wednesday's horrible pranks,
which was weird.
They weren't even pranks. She was basically trying to kill him the entire movie.
And the weird part is that, before first movie, he had his whole movie about, not having to stick with tradition because, it just wasn't him. He had to be himself. He had a whole movie arc. And then you had the other films with live action. He let her do it because of seeing what can they do because they don't get killed or anything. It was fun to both of them. He let her do it. He willingly got hurt. But here she just does it to just torment him.
And she's cruel and mean to everyone.
Yeah.
And again, she's not likable. Pugsley isn't likable because he's just stupid and the butt of whatever she does. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, Gomez has been turned to an idiot in here.
Yeah.
The mom doesn't, Morticia as they're calling her now, doesn't do anything. Grandmama is a partier like she's a teenager.
She was
Uncle Fester is an idiot now. He's not likable. And then they had Cousin It, who doesn't talk until he sings because he's voiced by Snoop. And that's the only time you can understand what he's saying, when you shouldn't be able to understand anything he's saying at all.
Yeah.
This movie was just all over the place.
Yeah. And then the basics, not so basic. The storyline for here is that the family's going on a road trip across the country. Like Mitchell versus Machines suddenly. Mm-hmm. And the reason why is because Gomez thinks that he's being distant from Wednesday. Like, no, she's being deliberate, and they keep telling him this, and he's just not listening. And it did that to do like the family bonding trope. And then some doctor comes along and says that Wednesday may not be their daughter, though looking at her and how she acts, it's kind of hard to believe that. So then it becomes this entire thing where the road trip is disguising the fact they're running away from a doctor is trying to prove that that's not their kid. And for some reason they thought that was a good plot for the Addams Family. It became like a boring version of the Mitchells vs. Machines. But instead of saving the world, you're covering up a lie.
Right. And so it was a painful watch. Kept thinking it was going to get better. It never did. We should have bailed out after 30 minutes. But we stuck with it. Now you don't have to. If you have not watched The Addams Family 2, don't. If you have seen it, our condolences. And if you like it, please explain to us why. Because we can't find any reason whatsoever that this movie was enjoyable.
Right. The only thing that could have worked, and it should have been the movie, was that the one that claims his daughter is a doctor at the beginning of the movie, they're at science fair. And he claims that she's his kid and they were switched at birth with someone else and they got the wrong kid. And by the end of the movie, it turns out he's Shao Tucker on drugs, and he experiments with animals all the time, and he turns into himself, turns into a just chimera hybrid, and he's a giant monster and things. Here was the problem. That part was the only enjoyable part of the movie, and that was towards the end of it. He was a mad scientist in disguise. He lived on a hill like Dr. Frankenstein. He experimented with animals like Dr. Mamoru and Shao Tucker, and something like that would have worked for Addams Family. Like maybe he was after them because of their craziness in the scientist part, and he was trying to use them. That should have been the whole movie, not the thing they throw in at the last minute because he needed a villain.
Yeah, I agree. But they missed it. They dropped the ball, and we end up with this. I really hope there's not a Family 3.
Right.
They made it like they hinted there would be a 3, but then it wasn't, because you saw the things they said they would do, taking a vacation at the end of
another one, planning another vacation. I'm like, please no.
So yeah, we can't recommend you see this at all. Sorry.
Nope.
It's just really, really bad. We got to see it as part of a watch-a-thon for free. Thank goodness we didn't pay to rent it. We would buy it. We don't know where it's available to watch. I guess on the streaming service.
Yeah, and I think Amazon has it.
But do yourself a favor. Don't waste the money. Don't waste the time. Find something else you'd rather watch and you will really enjoy.
Right. And if you haven't already, subscribe for updates and weekly videos on your favorite anime series, anime shows, and all things animation.
Absolutely.
So thank you so much for watching. I'm Matt's Entertainment.
And I'm Mind Entertainment.
Have a fantastic day.
Peace.